Hello, welcome to the Moisty Show. Welcome to the Moisty Show. It's a place where you can go to get a little bit of advice. Maybe how to get rid of, headlights. Okay, let's get to the show. Today, we got a very important episode. It's going to be on life lessons. And I'm going to do one on something I'm an expert in, okay? It's how to be a failure. All right? And no, don't go there. It's okay to be a failure. You know, I failed at just about everything in life at least one time, before I got it right. And that's how we learn, from our failures and stuff. But here's the key. You got to learn how to fail the right way, you got to learn how to process your failure. You got to learn how to learn from your failures, So what I want to do today is kind of just talk about, adversities and when you fail and, what do you do? Like how do you, what is everyone's normal reaction, or what should be your reaction, that kind of thing, And so what I come up with is this, if you're failing at something, the biggest thing that people do right now is they don't want to face it. You're like, I didn't fail, or it's not my fault, it's your fault, maybe, or they come up with all the excuses, and there always is an excuse usually, and a lot of times it isn't your fault or whatever, but sometimes it is your fault, and you need to be able to, like, it goes way beyond taking accountability, okay? It's about when you realize that you failed and you're like, okay, I'm gonna own this, and what do I need to do to do it better, and that'll take you where you need to go. And most people get that eventually, it doesn't take too long to kind of figure that part out on your own. But what helps here, what helps here is how, like, other people react and how you deal with other people during your failure, if you're on the job, and something's, goes south, it may be a group failure thing, where your whole team failed, and, in a situation like that, everybody's going to be like, well, he didn't do his part, so I couldn't do mine, yada, yada. But you know what? What really works good in a situation like that is if you step up and you go to your boss and you say, hey, this team effort that we're all doing, I know this could have gone better if something would have happened, and I want to take personal responsibility, and I want to fix this. I want to follow up and fix this, and at least clean up my mess. If I can't change it, maybe I can't change everything that happened here or whatever, but boss, I want to fix my mess, and if you take ownership, you can even defend your teammates and say, you know what, everybody failed, but you know what, if I didn't fail, then he wouldn't have failed, and you're giving him some cover, you're giving your brother some cover a little bit from the mean boss man and everything. But more than that, you're establishing that you can be depended on, not to succeed every time, but you can be depended on that when you fail, that you're going to be there to pick up your pieces, clean up your mess, I don't know too much about the mess cleaning up. You can ask my wife. I don't know nothing about that. Anyway, so that was like my first point, is to like not only take ownership, but really own it. Like make it yours. Work with it. Say, you know what, this is my flagship failure. I'm going to base my life on this failure. People do that. People will do that. They'll take some misfortune in their life and it'll turn them around, to do something else. So don't look at all your failures, as something bad. There are things to learn from. Another thing, don't expect to fail. Don't say that this is going to be too hard, I'm going to fail, because you will. You're going to set yourself up, and you're going to fail. So what you want to do, everyone always tell you keep a positive outlook, so, but there's a little bit deeper part of that, it's kind of like when I pray, I don't pray that the pain goes away. I pray that I get the strength to endure it, and so what that provides is that I'm able to, I know that I'm going to suffer. I know that I'm going to fail, but I'm prepared for it. It's like I have the strength, to weather it. So when I do fail, I'm gonna be ready for it. But I'm not telling myself I'm gonna fail. There's a difference. So being aware, being ready to fail, I guess is kind of where I'm going with that. So, um, and then let's talk a little bit about other people failing in front of you. Um, how you treat other people is real important. When somebody drops the ball, I mean, hey, I love to just take your face and rub it right into that mess. I mean, that's moisty. I'm wet. I'm wet like that. But really, what you should do is, when someone comes at you, with their failure, you should try to give them some sort of support. But don't just sugarcoat them. Don't just say, "Oh, it's gonna be okay, everything all right." No, no. You don't do them any favors like that. You need to, let them know, yeah, you effed up, buddy. But be a brother, be there for them. Say, hey, you messed up really bad, but I'm gonna help you. We'll work it out together. And when people come to you and they open up with their failures like that, man, that's an olive branch to you. That's an olive branch. I don't care if it's that a-hole you work with that you just can't stand. When he admits that he fails to your face, that's an olive branch, and you should take advantage of it. Okay, all right. Um, and more on that. When people come at you, sometimes they just can't process. They haven't watched the Moisty show, and they don't know how to process their failures. So, give them a little bit of grace. Just say, man, this dude, he's burning inside, man. He's lashing out. He's swinging. Maybe just take the hit for him. Just take the hit. You're a tough guy, right? You're a tough girl. Take the hit. And then I would say, you gotta be sincere in your apologies. I I f up so much at work. Well, I got fired, but I didn't get fired. I got laid off. The reduction in force is a way of saying I'm retired of giving you raises, whatever. Um, but you gotta apologize with sincerity, because sometimes like I effed up so much at work. I'd be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, it's me." Like I'd open every meeting with, "I'm sorry, I did this. I'm sorry, I did that." And then it kind of comes, dead on their ears. And people don't think you're sincere in your apologies. When you're constantly giving them, even if you're constantly effing up. So, maybe it's just in your delivery or something. Maybe take a person aside. Maybe a Teams meeting. Anonymous. Isn't the place, but. Just try to be more sincere. There was a guy, I called him off to the side and I said, "Hey brother, I know I effed up really bad, and I know you picked up the slack for me, and there's no way I can ever, the words ain't gonna cover it. I'll never have I hope I never have the opportunity to do for you what you did for me, because that means you already know a lot of shit." Sorry. But yeah, so, being sincere with people is always a good one. So, but yeah, failure, it's a life lesson. It's something you gotta do. Just like we gotta suffer to know what happiness is. You gotta fail to know what succeeding is. And you know what, your successes in life, they're gonna, what puts them in a frame, your failures around them. That bright, beautiful success is going to be framed with your failures, and that your failures will be a nice looking frame. Trust me on this. All right. Hey, it's been good talking to you. I hope I catch you tomorrow. Come back Friday, and then Friday, we're going to do let's see, Moisty reviews. Yeah, we can review a bunch of stupid stuff that that you spent your good money on, you dumb stupid. Anyway, you got to learn how to spend your money on important things like good mascots. Like this guy, he's a good dude. But anyway, we'll do some product reviews tomorrow. Hey, I love you. Don't forget your Bible, basic instructions of life before leaving Earth. But hey, you've been watching the Moisty Show. I got to go. I hope I see you tomorrow. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.